All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep into the world of the Zodiac's ultimate free spirit.
Oh, you mean
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, yes.
So whether you're, dealing with the Sagittarius in a relationship or trying to understand a coworker.
Or friends.
Or a friend. Yeah, exactly. Or just, figuring out that Sagittarian friend who's always off on an adventure. This deep dive is for you.
It is.
We are going.
Oh my God.
We've got a really lively guide to all things Sagittarius today.
We do.
And trust me, it's packed with insights.
It really is fascinating because it goes beyond the typical Sagittarius stereotypes.
Yeah.
It digs into the nuances of how they approach relationships, what motivates them, and even how these astrological influences play out in their everyday lives.
It's cool how it connects it all.
Yes.
So by the end of this, you'll have a much deeper understanding of what makes a Sagittarius tick, and maybe even some practical tips for navigating their sometimes exhilarating, sometimes baffling world.
It's true. It's like having a cheat sheet.
It is.
To decode their behavior, understand their motivations, and build stronger connections with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's dive right into the core of what makes a Sagittarius. And we all know they're fire signs, ruled by Jupiter. But how does that actually play out in their personality?
Well, you think about that fire element.
Yeah.
It's all about passion, exploration, and a constant thirst for knowledge and new experiences.
Right.
If you can just picture a roaring bonfire, always reaching higher, consuming everything in its path, that's the Sagittarian energy.
They're not just content to sit by the fire.
No.
They got to be out there pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely. And then you add in Jupiter, their ruling planet.
Oh, yeah.
Which just amplifies all of that.
Right.
Jupiter is all about expansion, luck, a boundless zest for life. This is what gives them that infectious optimism.
Oh, for sure.
That belief that anything is possible. They see the world as this vast, unexplored territory just waiting to be discovered.
That makes so much sense then.
Yeah.
Why freedom is so important to a Sagittarius.
Yes.
It's not just a preference. It's a need.
It is.
So any relationship with a Sagittarius, whether romantic, platonic, professional,
whatever it is,
has to honor that need for space and autonomy.
Yes.
I mean, try to box them in.
Oh, they are out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Make them run for the hills. So let's get into the relationships then.
Yes.
How does a Sagittarius approach love, and what are those things that really capture their hearts?
Well, you have to remember, for a Sagittarius, love is often intertwined with adventure.
Okay.
They fall fast and hard.
Interesting.
Drawn to that initial spark of excitement,
That newness, that feeling of exploring uncharted territory together.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're all about the grand romantic gestures.
No.
It's more about those shared experiences, that feeling of discovery.
Absolutely. So think less candlelit dinners and more about spontaneous road trips.
Oh, fun. Deep
Conversations under the stars.
Yeah, I love that.
Or maybe even trying a new sport together.
Right.
That's what lights them up.
That makes a lot of sense. And, the guide mentioned something I thought was interesting. Teasing a Sagittarius about their love for adventure can actually be a good way to connect with them.
Yes.
It's like you're acknowledging that adventurous spirit, but in a lighthearted way.
Exactly. You're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
But you're also
keeping it fun.
Keeping it fun, keeping it light.
Right.
And, don't forget, they're ruled by Jupiter, the planet of laughter and good humor.
Oh, that's right.
So someone who can match their wit, that playful energy, their love of a good laugh, that's so important.
Yeah, so no Debbie Downers allowed, basically.
Basically, no. They thrive on positivity and optimism. They want to be around people who can see the silver lining even when things get tough.
Makes sense. So what about that need for independence then? How does that play out in a romantic relationship?
It's key. It's absolutely key.
Yeah.
Clinginess for a Sagittarius. Major turnoff.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They need a partner who's comfortable in their own skin, has their own passions and pursuits, doesn't need that constant reassurance or attention.
So it's not about completing each other.
No.
It's about complementing each other.
It is. You got it.
Two individuals coming together, sharing their adventures, supporting each other's growth.
Yes.
But also respecting each other's need for space.
Absolutely.
And autonomy.
And that intellectual connection, too. That's crucial.
Oh, yeah.
Sagittarians are so curious.
They are.
They love those deep conversations, philosophical debates, exploring new ideas, constantly.
Makes sense.
So they need a partner who can challenge them intellectually and keep them engaged on a mental level.
And so it's not enough to just, have fun and go on adventures.
No.
You really got to be able to keep up with them.
You got to keep up. You got to be able to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Explore those ideas, learn and grow together.
Yeah. They are all about expanding their horizons. So having a partner who can join them on that journey is really essential. Okay. So we've talked about, what makes a Sagittarius tick.
Yes.
Their core values, what they look for in a partner. But let's be honest.
Okay.
No astrological sign is all sunshine and rainbows.
True.
So what are some of the challenges that come with navigating a relationship with a Sagittarius?
Well, like anything, there's two sides to the coin.
Okay.
Let's start with the positives.
Okay.
Life with a Sagittarius. Never boring.
I can imagine.
They bring this contagious energy and optimism to every situation, and they are incredibly low maintenance when it comes to jealousy.
Oh, that's good.
They trust their partners, give them space to breathe.
No drama.
No drama.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to be constantly checking in, feeling insecure?
Exactly.
Not me.
And their honesty, while it can be a bit much at times.
Okay.
At least you always know where you stand with them.
That's true.
They're not afraid to speak their minds, even if it's not always what you want to hear.
So even though sometimes that brutal honesty can be a challenge,
it can be.
You at least always know where they stand.
You do.
And like you said, no drama.
Right.
But that fierce independence, while attractive, can sometimes create a sense of distance, right?
It can.
It's important to remember that they need their alone time.
Yes.
To recharge.
To connect with themselves.
So if you're expecting constant togetherness, you might be disappointed.
You might be, and the guide also mentioned, they can be a little bit commitment phobic.
Oh.
And if you start pushing them, makes them want to run in the opposite direction.
Oh, interesting.
Freedom is paramount to them.
Okay.
So any whiff of pressure,
it
can trigger that escape instinct.
I see.
It's almost like they need to feel like they're choosing to be with you. Not that they're being forced or obligated.
So they still need to feel like they're on an adventure.
They do.
Even within a committed relationship.
They have to.
That sense of exploration and discovery
Absolutely.
Is crucial.
It's crucial for their happiness and fulfillment.
Interesting. So we've been talking about how Sagittarians, they need their space in relationships, but that independent nature can also be a strength, right?
Absolutely. It's what makes them such dynamic individuals.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to go their own way, blaze their own trails, pursue their passions with a single-minded focus.
The guide even suggests this can sometimes make them seem a bit detached or aloof.
Right.
But it's not about, being uncaring. It's more about processing things internally.
Yeah.
Needing time to sort through their thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. And this can be challenging for people who are more emotionally expressive, who need that constant reassurance. So it's really important to understand that a Sagittarius's need for space isn't a personal rejection.
Right.
It's simply part of their nature.
It's just how they operate.
It is.
Speaking of challenges, the guide also mentions their tendency towards distraction.
Oh, yes.
It's like they're always chasing the next shiny object.
Ah, the shiny object syndrome. It can be a blessing and a curse.
Oh, interesting.
For a Sagittarius, it's what fuels their curiosity.
Okay.
Their thirst for knowledge, their willingness to try new things.
Yeah.
But it can also make it difficult to stick with things long term.
Right.
Whether that's a relationship, a job, or even a personal goal.
So then how do you balance that need for novelty with, the importance of follow-through? Seems tricky.
It is. It's a tricky tightrope walk, and it's something that a lot of Sagittarians struggle with throughout their lives.
Right.
But here's a key insight from the guide.
Okay.
For a Sagittarius, it's less about forcing themselves to stick with things they're no longer passionate about. It's more about finding ways to keep the spark alive.
Oh, I see.
To keep that sense of adventure going.
Okay.
Even within, the structure of a commitment.
So instead of viewing commitment as like the end of the adventure, it's finding ways to kind of integrate adventure into the commitment itself.
Exactly. And that can apply to all aspects of their lives.
Oh, wow.
From careers to relationships, they need to feel like they're constantly learning, growing, expanding their horizons.
So if things start to feel too routine, too predictable,
they get restless.
They're going to start looking for that next exciting thing.
Absolutely.
This makes me think about career paths then.
Okay.
What kind of jobs would be a good fit for a Sagittarius? Given, that need for freedom, the love of adventure, the tendency to get bored easily?
Well, any career that allows them to travel, explore new ideas, to constantly learn and grow, that's going to be winner.
Makes sense.
So think about things like, a travel writer, a photographer.
Right.
An entrepreneur, even a professor.
Oh, yeah?
Gets to really delve deep into these fascinating subjects.
So anything that's too rigid, too restrictive?
No.
Probably not a good fit.
Not going to work. They're not the type to be content with a desk job.
No.
That involves a lot of routine and repetition.
They need to be stimulated, engaged, constantly pushing boundaries.
Exactly.
The fast-paced, dynamic environments where they can take risks.
Yes.
Challenge conventional thinking.
That's where they thrive.
And this all really ties back to their ruling planet, Jupiter.
It does.
Associated with expansion and abundance.
Yes.
It's like they're constantly seeking to expand their knowledge, their experiences, their horizons.
That's a great observation, and it's this expansive energy that makes them such inspiring individuals.
I could see that.
They remind us that life is meant to be an adventure, that there's always something new to learn, new to experience, some new horizon to chase.
But let's be real. Not every Sagittarius is going to be jet-setting around the world or launching a groundbreaking startup.
True.
So how does that adventurous spirit play out in everyday life?
Right.
For those who might be in more traditional roles or situations.
It's about finding those little ways to inject that sense of adventure and exploration into their daily routines.
Oh, okay.
It could be as simple as, taking a different route to work.
Oh, sure.
Trying a new recipe. Taking a class on a subject they've always been curious about.
Right.
Or even just striking up a conversation with someone they wouldn't normally talk to.
I like that.
It's about staying open to new experiences and possibilities, even in the midst of the mundane.
So it's not about the specific activity as much as it is the mindset.
It's the mindset.
That willingness to embrace novelty?
Yes.
Step outside of their comfort zone, even in small ways.
Exactly. And this brings us to another key aspect of the Sagittarius personality.
Okay.
Their optimism.
Their optimism, yes.
They have this innate belief that things will work out.
Okay.
That even if they stumble or make mistakes, they'll ultimately land on their feet.
I think that's one of the things that draws people to them.
It is.
They have that energy that makes you feel like anything is possible.
It's true. They remind us to focus on the positive, to look for the silver lining, to approach life with a sense of adventure and possibility.
Right.
And this optimistic outlook can be so helpful in navigating those inevitable challenges that life throws our way.
For sure. So we've talked about the importance of freedom, adventure, optimism in a Sagittarius's life.
Yeah.
But what about their emotional side?
Okay.
How do they approach love, intimacy, connection?
It's important to remember that Sagittarians are fire signs.
Okay.
And fire is all about passion, intensity, a burning desire for connection. But that need for freedom can sometimes make it difficult for them to fully open up and let their guard down.
So it's like this push and pull. It's between a desire for deep connection and the fear of being trapped or suffocated.
Exactly. And this can create a lot of inner conflict for Sagittarians, especially in romantic relationships.
Right.
They crave the intensity and excitement of love, but they also need to feel like they can come and go as they please without feeling tethered or obligated.
The guide suggests this is why they're often drawn to partners who are equally independent.
Yes.
Who don't need constant reassurance or attention.
Right. It's about finding someone who understands and respects that need for space.
Okay.
But who can also match their intensity and passion.
So you got to have both.
You got to have both.
And it's important to remember that even though they might not always express their emotions in a traditional way.
Yeah.
They feel things deeply.
They do.
They just might need a little more time and space.
Yes, a little more time and space.
To process those feelings.
To
let their guard down.
Yes.
So patience is key.
Patience is key.
Especially in the early stages of a relationship.
It is.
It's about giving them the space to come to you.
Yes.
To open up on their own terms.
Exactly. And once they do open up, you'll discover a depth of emotion and a capacity for love that is truly remarkable.
Wow.
They're incredibly loyal, generous, supportive partners.
Okay.
But you have to earn their trust and respect.
That makes a lot of sense. This makes me think about how a Sagittarius expresses anger.
Okay.
We talked about their honesty.
Yes.
But how does that honesty play out when they're feeling frustrated or upset?
You can be sure they're not going to hold back.
Oh, really?
When a Sagittarius is angry, they let you know it.
Okay.
But the good news is their anger is usually short-lived.
Okay.
It's like a quick burst of flame that burns brightly and then quickly subsides.
So they're not the type to hold grudges or stew in resentment.
No.
It's more about expressing those feelings in the moment.
Yes.
And moving on.
And moving on, and this can be a little jarring for people who are used to more passive-aggressive forms of conflict.
Oh, I bet.
So it's important to remember that a Sagittarius's anger is rarely personal.
Okay.
It's simply their way of processing their emotions and asserting their boundaries.
So how do you navigate a conflict with a Sagittarius then?
Right.
The guide mentions trying to reason with them when they're in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Usually counterproductive.
Usually not a good idea. The best approach is often to just give them space to cool off.
Okay.
Once they've had a chance to process their emotions, they'll be much more open to having a rational conversation.
And humor can be a great tool.
Oh, absolutely.
For diffusing tension.
Sagittarians have a great sense of humor.
Okay.
And they appreciate someone who can make them laugh, even in the midst of a disagreement.
So lighten things up.
Lighten things up. It helps them to see the bigger picture and remember that not everything has to be a battle.
So it's about finding that balance between respecting their need for space.
Yes.
But also expressing your own needs and feelings.
Absolutely.
Clearly and honestly.
It's not always easy.
No, I can imagine.
But the rewards of a strong connection with the Sagittarius are well worth the effort.
They bring a lot to the table.
They do.
We've been talking a lot about, the Sagittarius personality, the need for freedom, adventurous spirit, their passion, even their fiery temper.
Yeah.
But there's another side to them that I find really fascinating.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the guide mentions that Sagittarians have this deep philosophical side.
Huh?
They're not just about seeking thrills, they're seeking meaning and purpose in life.
Yeah.
It's like they're on this constant quest for truth and understanding.
Yeah, they are often drawn to those big questions about life, the universe, and everything,
Yeah, true.
Constantly searching for answers, exploring different perspectives, challenging conventional thinking.
That makes a lot of sense why they love to travel so much.
Yes.
It's not just about seeing new places.
Yeah.
It's about extending their worldview.
Right.
Connecting with different cultures.
It is.
Each journey is like a pilgrimage for them.
Yes.
A chance to learn and grow.
And to gain a deeper understanding of the world and their place in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got it.
You really hit the nail on the head there. For a Sagittarius, travel is a form of education.
It is.
It's a way to challenge their assumptions.
Absolutely.
To break free from the confines of everyday life. To experience the world in all of its richness and diversity.
I like that.
So if you're planning a trip with a Sagittarius, don't expect them to just lie on the beach or follow a tour guide.
No.
They want to go off the beaten path.
They do. Talk to the locals, immerse themselves in the culture.
Really experience the heart and soul of a place.
Exactly. They're not content with being passive observers.
Yeah.
They want to actively engage with the world around them, learn from every experience.
Yeah. And come away with a deeper understanding of themselves and the human condition.
And this thirst for knowledge, it extends to all areas of their lives, right?
It does.
Constantly reading, learning new skills.
Making class.
Exploring different hobbies and interests. Insatiable curiosity drives them to constantly expand that knowledge base.
Yeah, they're the ones who are always signing up for online courses.
Right.
Attending workshops, devouring books on all sorts of topics.
It's true. And they're not content with just learning for learning's sake.
No.
They love to share what they've learned.
They do. They're natural teachers.
Yeah.
Storytellers. Always eager to enlighten others with their insights and discoveries.
And they have that enthusiasm that makes learning fun and engaging.
Yes.
They can make even the most complex topic come alive.
They can.
And they have a knack for connecting with people on an intellectual level.
They do?
This makes me think about how they approach friendships.
Okay.
They're the ones who are always introducing you to new ideas.
Challenging your thinking. Inspiring you to learn and grow.
Exactly. Having a Sagittarius as a friend is like having a personal growth coach.
It's true.
And an adventure buddy all rolled into one.
Yeah.
They will push you to step outside your comfort zone.
For sure.
Explore new possibilities, never stop learning and growing.
But even with all their amazing qualities, let's be real, Sagittarians can be a handful, right?
They can be.
Impulsive, impatient, sometimes downright blunt.
It's true. Not always the easiest people to deal with, but,
Yeah.
their flaws are often just extensions of their strengths, their impulsiveness. Part of what makes them so adventurous and spontaneous.
I see.
That impatience,
Sure.
a reflection of their passion, their desire to make things happen.
The bluntness.
Just their way of being honest and authentic.
I think the key to navigating a relationship with a Sagittarius
Yes.
is to understand They're not trying to be difficult.
Right.
They're just being themselves.
That's it.
And if you can accept them for who they are, embrace their quirks, appreciate their unique perspective, you'll discover a depth of loyalty.
Yes.
Generosity, love, that is truly special.
It is.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive,
okay,
what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
All right. Well, first and foremost, remember that Sagittarians value freedom above all else.
Freedom,
If you want to build a strong relationship with them, you need to give them space to breathe, to explore, to be themselves.
Don't try to control them or box them in.
No.
Like we talked about, that's a surefire way to make them run for the hills.
Exactly.
Embrace their adventurous spirit. Be open to trying new things.
Yes.
Be willing to step outside your comfort zone.
And remember, they're not always going to express their emotions in a traditional way.
Yeah.
They might need a little more time and space to process their feelings.
Right, but once they open up,
Oh.
you'll discover a depth of emotion and a capacity for love that is truly remarkable.
It is.
And don't forget about that philosophical side. Engage them in deep conversations. Challenge their thinking. Be open to learning from their unique perspective.
And most importantly, have fun.
Oh, yes.
Sagittarians are all about enjoying life, spreading joy,
Yeah.
making the most of every moment.
Right.
They remind us that life is an adventure.
It is.
It's up to each of us to create our own path. Embrace the unknown. Never stop growing.
So to all the Sagittarians out there, we salute you.
They do.
You bring light, laughter, a sense of adventure to our world.
And to everyone who has a Sagittarius in their life, cherish them, support them, and let them inspire you to live your life to the fullest.
That brings our deep dive into the world of Sagittarius to a close.
It does.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey and that you've gained a deeper understanding of this complex and captivating sign.
Yes.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe.